The Wild Bunch, Straw Dogs, The Getaway. Some of the most exciting and controversial films of our time have one thing in common: Sam Peckinpah. Now, bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia. It's violent, it's beautiful, it's possibly the greatest film Sam Peckinpah has ever made. Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia.
Tráiganmela.
He did really like Mexico and the Mexicans.
Vete al carajo, pendejo este. Vámonos. Will you marry me?
Sam was passionate, a passionate man. I like passionate people.
He insulted you, he did this, and you're still working for him. Why? I don't understand.
I know he loved working with Warren Oates, and I did too. Warren was a great actor.
I shot Warren Oates' death in that picture because Sam had to leave. He says, here's my shot list, finish the picture.
And Sam thought it was an intruder and fired his gun from his bedroom, except it was me.
I wound up getting killed in slow motion, and then you lay on the floor for the next day and a half as people stamp over you, because that was part of what realism was about.
Benny, continuing. All I have to do is bring back proof that Alfredo was dead and make them think I killed him. Elita, but what proof do they want? Benny snuffs out a cigarette. Here it comes. Benny, continuing. They want his head.
This time I'm moving up.
Oh, mijo, we're moving up. And most important, at least to me, is we're together, Benny. We're together.
I really wanted to work with Sam. It was 6 of us for the part. He had Aurora, he had Begoña there too. They read for the part. They brought 2 gals from Hollywood. And I did my little scene. I sang a little song. It was Warren sitting across at a table, like in a set in the studio in Churubusco, Mexico. And I went and did the scene. It was a small scene, and then I sang a song for, I even took my brother who played the guitar very well.
Voy a contarles la historia. Dun, 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 de un caballero de ley.
I guess he liked it, but they didn't say anything. I could tell. Yeah, but he liked the other girls' work, I guess, too. So this was about a month, I think, until I found out that I had the part. The photographer, Alex Phillips, told me, I think you got it, and stuff like that, but I wasn't sure, of course, because, and so this was, nerve-wracking, because I really wanted to do the film. I really wanted to work with the men. Marty Baum was great, a great gentleman, and Helmut Dantin, the associate producer, was great too. They were great people, and some liked them very much. And yeah, I guess this film was special for him.
He really had free rein. Marty Baum, who had a long, long relationship with him in various capacities, started off as head of a studio on Straw Dogs. I believe he was still involved in Junior Bonner because it was an ABC picture. He was the producer on Alfredo Garcia. Marty Baum allowed Sam to make the picture he always wanted to make, which was Alfredo Garcia. So to that end, Marty was, his hero. Then he worked with Marty on Killer Elite, and then Marty became his agent. So that was one of the longest relationships he had ever had with anybody.
Where are we?
Whistlack, We can ask for him at a place they make furniture.
He did really like Mexico and the Mexicans. I don't know how he started this passion. He started this with this tendency to go back there and want to learn and be Mexican in a way, because he married Bego, you know, and lived there. He's one of his best friends with Charlo.
He loved the people of Mexico. Yeah, he loved to go and talk to them, even if he didn't understand them that much. But I mean, he wanted to get close to them. Why? I don't understand why. Because but he loved the Indians. Yeah, and he liked to see how they work, how they think, how they eat. All, you know, he loved that. You know.
¿Dónde está mi cerveza, señora? Rápido, por favor.
I said to him when I first met him, you know, the reason that he asked me, why do you want to write this book? And I said to him, because I really believe that you know, 100 years from now, when people are still, assuming people are still showing movies, that I think you're going to have a fistful of films that are going to be shown. And that, because I think they're that important. And that was a big part of, I think he felt that way himself. I don't think that was an exaggeration. That's why he was doing what he was doing. I was down there for most of the location scouting and the pre-production. I was down there for a good portion of that, and we saw a lot of things, like the hacienda that's used at the end. We found that. Gordy Dawson and I went off one day during the course of that location scouting.
Exterior day of Walt Hacienda can be in Spain, Italy, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Argentina, wherever. You're far enough away to see the expanse of the large complex of buildings and stables, but not close enough to see too many details. Specifically, you see horses. Specifically, you do not see automobiles. Specifically, is not yet understood the time or the place.
How it began was on Major Dundee. I was a wardrobe man. I think the day that Sam really noticed me was we were some big scene, and Jim Hutton was he was clowning around a lot, and I was aging someone and trying to get ready, and they were yelling for wardrobe, and it wasn't. And he roped me, just clowning around, and so I jerked it. I jerked him off of his feet, and I pounced him, and I just about, you can't hit an actor in the face, but I almost did, and so. And that was that. But that night, Sam's driver came for me and said, you know, Mr. Peckinpah would like to have a drink with you, you know. And so I went down to this scuzzy canteen, and there was Sam and a couple of guys. He says, you moved like a cat. I like that, you know. And so that macho moment, along with bailing out the rag department, was sort of how I met him. And then I didn't see him again for quite a while after that. He called me on when he was doing Wild Bunch. He says, I've got another picture. I'm going to Mexico. I really need you to do it. And I said, I can't, Sam. I don't do wardrobe anymore. I just sold my first script. He says, what? And so he kept offering me money until I put the writing career on hold and went down to Mexico and did that. And just after we blew up the bridge, when we finally got that shot, Ben Johnson came over and says, don't say that I told you, but I think the man wants you to become a producer, you know. He wants to see you anyway. So I went down underneath the bridge and sat with Sam and Ben, and he asked me to become his associate producer, which in features then was line producer, and want to make pictures together. So I said, yeah, why not, man? It was great. And so I did the rewrite with him on Cable Hogue. right away we got into that, Wild Cut and the Wild Bunch, and I did that, and then The Getaway, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, which was the last one. Yeah, so that was my five pictures with him.
I wasn't working for him anymore. I was working at 20th Century Fox as a prop man. And he called me up and said, Charles, you promised that you were going to do this film for me. When the hell did I promise that? And he said, you did promise. He said, ask the unit manager, Gory Dawson. And Gory said, yeah, you did promise, Charles, when we was in that bar. And it was a lie. I know it was a lie. But it was okay, if I promise, I'll do it. So I did a part in Alfredo Garcia, for him. And but we got into a fight anyway, because he started asking me to do long shots without pay. He stick around with me and we have some fun and that. But then he started sticking to me on long shots, and then he started with these medium shots and then short shots. I said, wait a minute, my agent is not going to go over this shit when he sees the dailies in Los Angeles. He's going to, and shoot a shit. My agent called in and says, hey, what's going on? You're not in the payroll. And you start coming out in the goddamn thing. So he got pissed off at me instead of my agent, So he didn't talk to me for about 2 months. But, we always come back again,
What is all this, Benny?
Just get up.
Ay, okay.
Get up. Get up. Come on.
Up. I am up.
Up. Up.
You see?
Get up.
Oh, no. No, don't play with my hangover, please, Benny.
Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia was Sam living the film that he really wanted to make, and I think Warren saw the importance of that, and then Warren basically portrayed Sam in that film.
They knew one another so much. They had inside jokes. He would be playing him, probably, for the crew, for everybody that knew him, in nuances, he would be. Yes, Warren had a lot of Sams, but he was very mild. Warren was very shy, kind of, and so was Sam. He was kind of shy, with women especially. I like that man so much. I loved him so much. We were never like lovers or any of that. Cause I don't know. He we just never got there. Never. It was not up to him, but up to me, and so we never got there. But I loved the man. He was. He taught me a lot.
Ow! God damn it.
That was Warren's only real romantic lead, with dark overtones, of course.
Well, I know he loved working with Warren Oates, and I did too. Warren was a great actor. I felt that he probably had a little more freedom down there. He was taking as much advice from Emilio. Yeah, Emilio was helping him direct on a lot of the scenes, particularly in mine. I felt that. Look, when I saw the film, I felt that Sam had tried so hard to give me a bigger scene than it really was, that it took away from the film. It hurt the relationship between Isela and Warren, because it made it more of a romantic rape scene than a brutal one. It lessened the sadness when she died, when he lost her, because it was almost like she had betrayed him. That's the way I felt. But I thought Sam made the scene the way he did out of friendship for me, trying to give me more to work with. We had a wonderful time. I love working with Isela, and it got pretty humorous on the set sometimes, especially with Emilio telling Sam, let him hit her just once. He wanted me just to belt her, but probably my memory is probably limited because of the amount of tequila consumed.
You be good as you can get her. You tremble when you touch her. Okay, man, knock it off. But she just keeps on getting better.
Warren was great. And like what I was saying, like for instance, that scene in the shower after the rape, they had this set there, this bedroom, and we tried to do that scene there. He didn't like it, and he said, and it was late in the afternoon. We would go to the trailer with him, and we would talk about the scene. And he asked me, you know, if I had any ideas, could I suggest anything? And I said, well, I would say that where I'm coming from the rape scene, I would want to clean myself. That I would think of, I got to take a bath or a shower. And he said, okay, that's it. And so he asked for the props man. There came Basilia, and he told them, you know, tomorrow we need a shower. It's that we can work in. And the next day we did that scene. I couldn't play that scene in that bed. He was a director that made the actors work, do their job. He wouldn't come and tell you what to do, how to do it, you know. He would say, he would block the scene, and he would say, all right, go ahead and do it, and I'll go like this if it works, and like that, of course, if it doesn't, and you just have to do it, try something else. You have to try something new. I have never worked with a director that did that. They would impose, you know, they would want it this way. And they would tell you how to do it, you know. So there was no freedom for actors in the kind of movies I've been before. Sometimes I got some freedom, but with him, it was great. I liked it. I took responsibility. He didn't take anything for granted. He looked at everything. He was a passionate person. And also the culture there in Mexico, it's different. Then again, it's not the American way. It's so close, and yet it is so different. They have another pace. I guess he liked the pace. It's slower. It's not this accelerated thing, you know. It's not that pump up thing. Like in the U.S., it's a slower pace.
But we got to stay with Emilio and enjoy his hospitality. And I love Mexico about as much as Sam does, because I grew up down on the Mexican border, down in Brownsville, Texas, across the river from Matamoros, and like Sam, I think I've got a Mexican heart. The same kind of passions, same kind of toughness.
Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia is really a film he went down there specifically to establish Mexican residency on, but he follows it. He has no choice because he can't get anything else to work down there. He follows it with Killer Elite because it became the first one with real money attached to it. There were several other projects sort of along the way, including a Mexican project that Alfonso Arau had brought to him called The Greaser, which was a sort of thinly veiled allegory about Vietnam, to be honest. I'm not sure. I was never convinced it was as good a script as it should have been. But it never got made, so it didn't make any difference.
Mexico was a very special place for my father. I think it's because of good food, of music, of mariachis, of drinking, no, guns.
A gun in the hand of Sam Peckinpah is not a good idea. I had my appendix out in Mexico City, and I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and Sam thought it was an intruder and fired his gun from his bedroom, except it was me, and the bullet was about 2 inches away. It was my closest moment to death I've ever had, I think. I don't know if I moved after that and moved into a hotel, but it was a very scary moment. I think he woke up in the morning feeling terrible, but I mean, I'm sure he didn't want to kill me, he just thought I was an intruder. But that's a great statement about not having guns.
He was crazy, you know. He liked to talk to the Indians in Mexico, and I had to be very careful because I was his assistant. I was carrying the guns all the time, yeah, because I didn't know, you know, the Indians. You can't tell what the hell they're gonna do, especially if they're drinking. You know, Indians when they start drinking, their brain goes apeshit. You know, they start getting belligerent. And I told Sam many times, don't do that, Sam. One of these days, something's going to happen to you. Yeah. So he started carrying a gun too, but it didn't last long. He was a good shooter, though. He knew how to handle rifles and guns and everything. Fernandez told me the same thing. He said, watch it, Sam. You can't trust the Indians, you know. Especially you start, you know, drinking with them. Yeah.
We're going through a part of town where they would slash your throat for a dime and give you 9 cents change. These were not nice people. And Sam said, oh, look, there's a what? And he's out of the car. Ben Johnson and I went after him to see what he was going to do. And here's a bar that looked like something from Casablanca. Everybody's drinking, people are on the floor. Sam walked up to the bar. We got there just about this time. He ordered some beer. They brought him a glass of beer. He took a taste, spit it in the bartender's face, and said, your cow has been urinating in the beer again, and the fight is on. And I mean literally the fight is on. I would say about 10 minutes later, Ben and I found ourselves in a corner, back to back. We're dodging knives, broken bottles, blackjacks, the whole works. They're trying to kill us. And we look around, and Peckinpah is gone. He's just walked off and left us. Not only did he walk off and leave us, he took the car with him.
Some of the best beer in the world comes from Mexico.
Qué bueno estás.
It was funny. One day we were at this restaurant, and Emilio was very drunk. He would get smashed. Of course, he always had a gun on him. And he went out, and all of a sudden, I don't know, a fight outside or something. And he pulled out the gun. And as a result, they pushed him and he fell. He fell on his ass. And that was the end of it.
He was arrested for killing a man in a brawl. He killed a critic over a bad review. I mean, he had been in a number of duels.
He was one of those old guys that had rebelled in Mexico to make pictures his way, and he always carried these two pistols. He walked into the mess hall with a 14-year-old girl that he was shacking up with, and dared it, anybody to say anything about it.
Emilio Fernandez, and wonderful guy. I'd been at his home and everything else, and got to know him pretty well. But crazy as the day is long too. I don't know why directors are like that. But some of them, boy, they're really.
Un millón el que me traiga la cabeza de Alfredo Garcia. Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia. Tráiganmela.
He and Sam were extremely close. And I don't think Sam always wanted people with him who he really respected and had worked with before. And Chalo Ureta was another one, who's the old man with the white mustaches. A wonderful old man.
I knew a lot of the people who worked with Sam. Jorge Rusek. I knew him from my home state. He was from Sonora. I knew him when I was a teenager back in my home state. Mm-hmm. He was a playboy. Yeah. He had a sailboat in Guaymas, Sonora. Alex Phillips, yeah, he was kind of a little bit crazy. He had married two of my favorite friends. One is Mona Bell. She's a singer. She still sings very good. And the other one was Ofelia Medina. He married my two friends, one at a time, of course, hopefully. And I always saw him at the studios. I used to live at the studios practically. I would make 2 or 3 films a year. See, imagine I worked for 15 years and I made 76 films. So, it was out of one set to the next.
Sam treated all women very badly. He didn't have a respect for women. He loved them, but he didn't respect them. And I think that was his problem.
And I mean, he was always firing Katie, but it was, she'd always be back, But I mean, I don't know how she did that job at all. It was an impossible job, that 24-hour-a-day on-call stuff.
Katie was pretty great, pretty active, and able to cope. Able to cope with, yes, with the work and with the personal life of Sam.
Ali McGraw and Isela Vega, two of my best friends. So at least something good came out of an 8-year relationship with Sam.
He insulted you, he did this, and you're still working for him. Like, why? I don't understand. We were masochists or something, long hours, lousy pay, but for some reason or other, we still work for him. I don't understand why,
I don't regret any of the friendships I've made and still have through the years that I was with Sam. His family I still really sort of relish my relationship with his family. I feel like they are my sort of family in some sort of way, because after 8 years with Sam, you create some very strong bonding with the people around you, because you're all sharing the experience, whether it's good or bad. So it's very tough to sort of, alienate yourself from those relationships. They become firm and strong in your mind, and they last for a long time, or forever, in fact.
Elita is up from the bed like a rocket. Rushes to Benny. Elita, shocked. His head? What do you mean, his head? You would desecrate a sacred grave? Benny, slightly pissed off. Don't give me that crap about a sacred grave. There's not a goddamn thing sacred about a hole in the ground, the man that's in it, or you or me.
Give me that crap. There's nothing sacred about a hole in the ground, or a man that's in it, or you, or me.
Hey, hey, hey.
The scene in the graveyard was very difficult. The dirt is so heavy. You don't know until you've been buried, you know. And Warren tried to pull me up, you know, and it hurt me so bad because he couldn't move somebody that's buried. Let me tell you, it's so heavy. That day, somebody came and brought hallucinating mushrooms from Oaxaca. And so Warren had them, and I said, "What are those?" And he said, "Oh, these are hallucinating mushrooms, baby." With his deep voice. I said, "I want some." "Well, there you are." and here we are, up on a hill, I remember, and we're eating those things. It was those tortas, like sandwiches. And later on, when we were doing that scene, I was so spaced. At some point, I was talking in Sam's in the scene, and they're rolling. I had no idea. And laughing and stuff. And Sam said, "Shut up, Isela." So that scene is something. When I see it, I try to recreate what I was thinking. How we only had that scene that day, and I knew it. And I said, well, if I get sick or anything, I'm gonna be dead anyway. I said, I'm playing dead, so I didn't think it was. I wouldn't have any problem except I couldn't let the people work.
Meat in the pot, honey.
Oh.
One day we took a trip to Sam, Warren, also myself, from Mexico City to Acapulco. And he got some grass, you know, and I rented a driver and a mobile home. Yeah, we went to Acapulco. He was opening the windows and throwing pot, you know, the seeds from the pot all over. Let Mexico be a paradise of pot. Jesus Christ. He believed on marijuana.
Sam was passionate, a passionate man. I like passionate people. That's why I guess it was an immediate rapport, you know, with Sam, because he's a passionate man. Nothing was ordinary for him. He himself was out of the ordinary, and he did everything with passion. He got up with passion up front, and his work. He lived for his work. I mean, you know, he was shooting a film, and there was the world outside the set didn't exist.
Like a genius, he was completely involved in his films, and his films were like his babies, I remember he said once. And so we have to understand him, no? I mean, that was what made him feel alive.
Ahí me espera mi chapeteada, la única dueña de mi amor.
Cello. Ya, eh? Cello.
I sang a song which I never knew was going to sing. I was driving the car and Sam said, "Sing a song, Charles." What the fuck, you know? And my parents are from a small town called Tepatitlan, and I couldn't think of a song to sing except the little song from the hometown of my parents. So I sang "Vamos a Tepa, tierra soñada." I sang that thing for Sam, and everybody loves the goddamn thing in Mexico. Says, "Hey, that's the best thing in the goddamn movie is you singing that song." That's what everybody tells me there.
Las lindas salteñitas de Tepatitlán.
Suficiente, Chalo.
Estoy molestando.
Suficiente.
Vamos a Tepa.
Before Guaranos killed me, I'm changing a tire. Changing a tire with of the vehicle that we were driving, with the head of Alfredo Garcia in the back. And the guy is drinking, and I'm changing the tires, and I turn around and I say, but I knew I had the microphone on. So I turn around and I says, "How in the hell am I doing all the work and you're all the drinking?"
You're doing all the goddamn drinking, all the fucking work.
I didn't have any lines in it, but I felt like I had to say something, because I've been drinking all the time driving the pickup, the station wagon, and drinking all the time. And this time, I'm changing the tire, and the guy is drinking, and I figured that I had to say something. So I said that. And he came over out of the chair. "What in the fuck did you say?" I said, "I don't know, but I don't know why." He said, "You didn't have any lines on it." Well, I should have had. If I didn't, I should have had some. And he turned to Sam and, did you hear what he said? "Oh yeah, everything's perfect." He said, "What in the fuck did you say?" So I told him, "Jesus Christ, for once you did the right thing." He turned around and walked away. Yeah, you never pleased the cocksucker.
None of the cars are in a dented condition. None of them. They're all smashed somehow. And I never noticed that until then. In Mexico, it's very hard to find, a car in a dent condition. They're all smashed somewhere. There's something wrong with every car you see in Mexico. And I've not seen it before. I'm telling you, Sam showed me a lot. I mean, I learned a lot with him. He was very, very picky. He would see everything.
When I came down for the last 3 weeks of the shoot, I spent a lot of time then watching him film out there, and in the middle of that, he decided he wanted to put me in the film, or I'm not sure exactly why. I think the reason really was he wanted me to get a sense of what it was going to be like.
Me perdona por un momento, por favor.
It was a great experience. I mean, Sam made sure that I was paid. My wife came down with me. They dressed her up, and she has like one brief cut in it as well. It's one of the ladies in waiting or whatever it is in this thing, and we were both paid for it. I was even paid for the stunt of getting shot, because I mean they squib you up. You wind up being covered with these blood pouches, and they blow them up.
And me. And one of them was a damn good friend of mine. No! No! No!
wind up getting killed in slow motion, and then you lay on the floor for the next day and a half as people stamp over you, because that was part of what realism was about. So it was big. Sam's big joke was that, you know, every time I'd be laying on the floor, and these floors were made out of slate, so they were very cold. And you're laying there, and it really is as uncomfortable as you could possibly be. And you hear this, the guy, the first assistant director was a Mexican named Chuchu Marin, and you hear Chuchu go, "Otra vez, por favor," and you go, "Oh no, not again, I don't want to do this again."
Take this. You take care of the boy, and I'll take care of the father.
I shot Warren Oates' death in that picture because Sam had to leave. He had a date with someone in Cozumel. He says, here's my shot list, finish the picture. That's what broke it with Sam and I mean, because I had done anything for him forever, but it was always for the picture. I blew up chicken heads and all that stuff, and when he did that, I was like, oh, whoa. And then by then, he'd so alienated the Mexican crew that I said, okay, we're over here. And the guy said, yeah, sure we are, because once he left, there was the power left. And I got about 8 of his 14 shots, I think. That was all I could get.
He liked his scenes, and he fell in love with them, I guess. And sometimes he left them pretty long, you know. And I think that was the problem with the studio, because he always overran in time-wise, you know. The picture would be or too long, or the studio would just say, no, you need to make some cuts. They always wanted to cut, and cutting the film was a problem between him and the studios and the producers. That scene we have with Warren Oates under the tree, he cried. That's something. And he left the scene, it's too long, you know. It's a lot of pauses and reactions. Well, I mean, because then you get used to the type. Every year, more and more, they have gone for action, and something's got to be happening, you know. It doesn't happen so much in European films, but in American films, it's like this. They have a attention deficit disorder. They can't look at something. They have to be like gremlins, I guess. I don't know. You saw the Gremlins?
This man will become an animal. This woman's dreams of love will be destroyed.
I've been here before. You don't know the way.
Innocent people will suffer.
With Alfredo's help, we can do anything, honey.
Holy ground will be desecrated.
You don't want me to be part of that, do you?
You are a part of it.
25 people will die. Sam Peckinpah's Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
He was allowed to make the film he always wanted to make, that was written with his friends, that he was... So it was a very, for him it was a wonderful experience of working with Warren, who he adored. Isela, you know, was the fulfillment of every dream he ever wanted to make, you know, with a Mexican actress. So it was a great experience for him. He had no complaints. It didn't make a dime, unfortunately, which was a big disappointment for Sam, because I think, you know, that was his work of love, that film.
The critics in Mexico, of course, have praised him, have praised his work, The Wild Bunch, you know. Alfredo Garcia he has such a good criticism. Sometimes, on the other hand, you know, you get critics just demolish the film. And then they show it at cinema school. They always have it at cinema school.
I remember when Sam screened it for me, when we walked out of the screening, I said, "Sam, why didn't you kill that old Mexican man standing by the road there?" And he said, "Well, why should I?" I said, you killed everybody else in the movie. Why didn't you kill him?" It was pretty bloody. But Warren Oates is one of my favorite actors. And another one, I'm sad he's gone.
Oh, great friends. I miss him all the time. Jerry Fielding was so great. He did the music for the movie. I loved doing that movie. Sam, we kept our friendship. We were never boyfriend, girlfriend. Again, not. He had a girlfriend. He was coming out of a romance, gone sour, and pretty soon he got into another friendship with his last wife. She was a great lady. And so, but we were like brother, sister. I used to go to his trailer and bring him food, because the man wouldn't eat. And I would bring him food and sort of Mexican food, you know, tortillas and his salsa. And I would make him eat there around Malibu, you know. I would take him to the beach and we would go for walks. He wasn't moving very much. He wasn't doing much of an exercise from the kitchen to the bed and back and forth. And so I used to bring him food and call him very often, see what he was up to, what are you doing, when are you coming, he would say. And I would sing, you know, while I was warming up his food and setting up the table and stuff, and I would sing, and he would love that. I would sing in the kitchen. He needed a dame. He needed a wife. Yeah. But it was difficult for him to keep a relationship.
He was really paranoid anyway, yeah. Also, he was a little hypochondriac. If I wanted to stop working, I said, "Jesus, Sam, you don't look so good." "Really?" He went in the mirror and started looking, "Your eyes look like a little greenish." And, "Oh my God, I'm on a fever." And he went into bed, and I was happy, I had to cough. That was one of the tricks that I used with him.
I know we were both alcoholic and depressive, and whether one was medicine or poison, I don't know. I do know that my life's gotten a lot more controllable and a lot happier since I backed off it. I wish that I'd had more control over Sam at that time. But everybody's got to do it for themselves, you know.
Sam was an alcoholic. In the mornings, he was trembling. He had to have a shot in order to start, you know, to calm himself. And he started with cocaine, and the same thing happened. He just couldn't stop it. He just kept on going, you know. And unbelievable, you know, so gifted person, you know, going to shit because of that stupid cocaine. I can't believe it. It's a guy so tremendously unique, you know, losing everything because of that cocaine stupid thing.
Well, I had to stop because it was killing me. I didn't stop altogether. I still drink a glass of wine a night, but I just stopped drinking so much. I used to drink all the time when I was performing my music or whether I was working on films, and that might have put a distance between us. I know the last couple of times I saw him, I pretty much was having to take care of him, you know, as was Katie and the people right around him. I'm sure that it shortened his life. I'm sorry about that, because I wish to God we had Sam Peckinpah around today.
There were a lot of pleasant times. I mean, the whole work experience was always exciting and interesting. Otherwise, I would never have continued on. I never would have come back. I mean, I learned more about filmmaking and about psychology of human nature from him than anybody else I could ever learn from. You know, and he was a great artist. And when I think about the way movies are made now, I don't think he would have been a very happy camper working in this age of technology.
He called me after Alfredo Garcia to go help on the convoy because it was a big mess. He says, "God, you got it coming." I said, "I'm not doing it, Sam. I got a Rockford Files, you know. I'm not leaving it again." And he says, "Al, come on, Dawson, take a walk on the wild side." And no, I can't do it. But by then he changed some of his habits, and I didn't go there. I mean, I liked it when he was just drinking. You could be sure that at 11 o'clock at night you could go to bed. But you know, when you switch the other stuff, 3 o'clock in the morning you get the phone call. You know, just so it wasn't that I couldn't continue that.
Sam. It was so great. I wish I had him. I wish he was around. Great artist. Great loss. He would have done a lot more, you know. I think so. He would have worked in a lot of other movies and done a fantastic job.
This is a song I wrote down at Durango, thinking of Sam. I seen you standing there, stunned in the spotlight. I seen the sweat streak, the pain on your face, 'cause you're caught like a clown in a circle of strangers. Who do you screw to get out of this place? It's one for the money, too far to go. 3 fingers of whiskey, just for the soul. That lady you're pleasing is hungry and cold. Don't look in her eyes, you'll see what you sow. Too many bodies in too many bars. Too many feelings are falling behind, 'cause you're easy to fool when you're lost in the stars. Shoot out that spotlight before you go blind. It's one for the money, too far to go. 3 fingers of whiskey, just for the soul. That lady you're pleasing is hungry and cold. Don't look in her eyes.
See what you sow.